Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm just continuing on with my parents won't let me go vegan series thing, even though it's just 2 videos. So the first video I talked about my story with my parents and going vegan. So this time I wanted to share with you guys some tips that have worked for me that I hope will work out for you to help you convince your parents to let you go vegan. Tip number 1. Educate yourself before you decide to announce that you're going vegan. And when I say educate yourself, I mean watch the holy trinity of veganism. Forks Over Knives, Earthlings, and COWSPIRACY. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. So what I did was, after I watched those documentaries, I just went on YouTube and I looked up vegan stuff, and I found a bunch of vegan YouTubers and people on Instagram, and I listened to everything they had to say. I read books. I read The Starch Solution, China Study, 80-10-10. I think that's it, but that was enough convincing for me to tell me that I would get enough of my vitamins and minerals and all of the macronutrients that I needed for my diet through plant-based diet. I also went online and I looked up articles that were against veganism so I can use each point and dispute it myself. So it said like, oh, vegans tend to have low iron. So I decided to go look up videos where they talked about iron, or I looked up other articles where they talked about iron, and I learned about that myself. And I found that educating yourself is the first step to showing your parents that you are a smart, responsible young adult who knows how to take care of your health in a healthy way with a vegan diet. So tip number 2 is kind of the same thing as tip number 1, but a little bit more in detail. Make sure that you know where you're gonna get your protein, your fatty acids, your iron, your calcium, etc., where you can find those today. It even helps to show how much cheaper a vegan diet is and that they won't be spending any more money than they need to, that they don't need to be buying gourmet vegan foods, and you're cool with a whole foods plant-based diet. Yeah, just make sure you have your information about nutrition facts that you need that would support you in your claim that veganism is healthy. That is one of the biggest things that you want to prove to your parents and anybody really, that you know why and how veganism is healthy for you. Tip number 3. If they don't believe what you're saying, make sure you have all of your information sourced and compiled all together. I almost went as far as finding articles and printing them out and compiling my own information as PDF documents for my parents, but thank God I never really had to do that because they kind of trusted what I was doing with my diet. But if your parents are very skeptical, you could do that. Make sure that they know that this is something that means a lot to you and it's more than just a diet. It's definitely more than you just losing weight or going into the next fad thing. It's about your health, the animals, the environment, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, whatever stance you choose to take, make sure you have your information ready for them. Maybe try to watch YouTube videos or documentary or 3 documentaries with them to see if maybe they will be convinced to let you go vegan. And if you decide to watch a documentary with your parents or a YouTube video or something, make sure that they know that you're not trying to make them go vegan. You just want them to understand why you would want to go vegan yourself. And make sure that the information that you have is sourced from plant-based doctors. If there's one type of person in this country that people decide to listen to, it's doctors. So make sure you have information from plant-based doctors. My personal favorites are Michael Greger and Dr. John McDougall, but there's also Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Barnard. There's also so many other doctors out there that you can source and that are reliable and that I'm sure your parents would believe also. My 4th tip is to be an adult about it. It means be responsible. If you're coming from an eating disordered background or like an underweight background, don't try to lose weight with it. Don't go over exercising. Don't throw your food up after you finished eating it. Don't be finicky with your food. Just let them know that you are an adult, you're healthy, you're responsible, you just want to do veganism to save the animals, to save the planet, for your health, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. And just leave it alone. Leave it at that. Don't try to go into like, well, I can also lose weight and tone up. Don't highlight any type of negative eating patterns or negative living patterns with your veganism. A big thing that helped me when I came back home from college after being vegan for like 4 or 5 months was that I had actually put on a little more weight. And it showed to my parents that I was being healthy and responsible with it, and I actually looked healthier. So maybe if you're coming from a background of an eating disorder and you want to go vegan but your parents won't let you, gain some weight, eat some more plant fats. Even if you think you look healthy now, if you gained a little bit more weight, your parents would maybe think that this is a good thing for you. Yeah, so make sure you know how to cook your own food, and that as much as possible offer to cook your own food instead of having your mom or dad cook for you. I know it must be frustrating for parents to have to like cook a regular meal and then cook the vegan meal. You could just say, well, don't worry about it, I'll cook my own food, and you can just go on with your own life. Like try to be as little of a nuisance and as little of a hassle to your parents with this veganism, and it would probably help them accept it a lot more, and it would definitely give them little room for excuses as to why you can't go vegan. And tip number 5, if all else fails, compromise. I compromise with my parents. I told them, look, if I'm looking unhealthy when I come back, if I look like I've lost weight and I'm weak, if I look like I'm obsessing over food, then I will drop it altogether and I'll go see a therapist, I'll go see a nutritionist, and that's it. Like, that's my deal for you. So maybe that could be your deal with your parents, or if they won't even let you try out veganism, you can compromise with them and maybe say that you'll go vegetarian at home, but when you go out, you're just gonna go be vegan. I'm not sure if that's something that I would say, like, I'm gonna be vegetarian at home, but when I leave the house, I'm gonna be vegan. I would probably say, like, look, I'll just be vegetarian, but then obviously when I'm out, I'm not gonna eat dairy or eggs or anything. And see how they react with that first, and tell them you'll do a lot of research on healthy plant-based sources of protein and calcium in exchange for the dairy. It's all about compromise. If parents see you willing to work with them and willing to compromise with them, it also shows more responsibility and more maturity, and that is definitely something that'll help your plight in veganism. So I hope this wasn't too long. Oh wow, it's already 10 minutes. That is the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped you out. Please let me know if you have any more questions below. Please like this video if you liked it. Press subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Just taking a photo of my food.